Hey friends, and welcome back to Path of Exile for a quick video on the farming strategy that I used to get the 60 div that I needed for Original Sin. Now, Original Sin has since gone up in price, but the farming strategy is still just as good, and I want to share that with you now. So, the farming strategy is based on a couple of things. We are using Essence, we are using Harvest, and we are using Conqueror Maps. So, taking a look at our Atlas skill tree, really what we have going on here is we have Harvest spec'd all the way in, we have Essence spec'd all the way in, we have duplicate map drops, although I don't think that's very important because it doesn't work on the Conqueror map that we're talking about. And then we've made sure to grab the Conquered Conquerors and the Vivid Memories nodes for the chance of getting something like Cortex and getting extra Conqueror maps. I also take Speaker of the Dead because we're doing Essence mobs and I don't want those Essence mobs to be possessed when I get to them. So all we're doing here is we're using charged compasses that say additional Conqueror map drops on completing your maps, and that's the only compass we are using. We have 64 chaos set aside for our Essence craft on our map device for each of these 32 maps, and we're running Mesa with no mods on it because we don't need any of the mods. So I run it without mods just to make it a little faster, to make the Essence mobs a little weaker, and we're also going to use Remnant of Corruption on every Essence mob we find. There are only two scenarios where we won't use Remnant of Corruption. One, if it is already corrupted, because we cannot corrupt it in that case. And number two is if there's only one or two low tier essences on the Essence mob. Alright, so really quickly looking at a spreadsheet that I put together, I've estimated the cost of everything going into this. We have maps that are around 5C per. It doesn't actually matter what map you choose, any map will do. I use Mesa, you can use anything you want. But I'm estimating 5C per map, 150C per compass, and then Essence Craft is 2C per map, and then Remnant of Corruption, I'm estimating we're going to use 3 of these per map, so the cost of that is right around 6 chaos. I bumped it up to 7 just to be sure. Over the course of 32 maps, we're going to have a cost of 160 chaos for our maps. Our compasses, we will need 8 of them for 32 maps, resulting in 1200 chaos, 64 Essence Crafts, and 224 chaos worth of Remnant of Corruption. That brings us to 1648, which is a cost of just over 7 div. Now, if we want to, we can make the cost of this overall cheaper by using Shaper Compass, Elder Compass, or no compasses at all. If you don't have the div going into this, you can run this with just essences for a while, and those essences will get you enough capital to start running the full strategy. Now, taking a look at Excellence, I have this pulled up and profiled for this very specific tab, and this is just a test tab that I have, and right now it's only clocking in at a value of 289 chaos, and that is with the chaos I have and the Remnant of Corruption that I have. So I grabbed 108 of these, 64 chaos, so that's what that tab looks like. So what we're going to do is we're going to run these 32 maps, keep everything that I get in here, and see how much profit we turn. Now, we're going to have to do some calculations at the end to see what the profit actually is, because Excellence Next doesn't play super well with maps. It's also much better to sell Conqueror maps in sets, and doing that on TFT will net you more profit in the long run. So let's go ahead and take a look at what one of these looks like. So I'm going to grab all of these and 8 maps. I run the maps in sets of 8. You can run them however you like. Then we're going to grab a set of Remnant of Corruption and the chaos. I guess we can hold that as well. Alright, so we've used the same compass on all 4 of our watchstones. You don't need 4 watchstones to do this, you only need 1 watchstone. I've used it on all 4. What this means is it's going to use 1 use from each of these at a time. I usually run 8 maps at a time. So I run 8 maps, refill the maps, run it again, and then it's time to grab some more compasses. Okay, so running the maps, all we're doing is throwing in Mesa. We're going to use an Essence Craft, and we have the Conqueror Map additional modifier. I'm running Eater of Worlds. You can run whatever you like. But Eater of Worlds or Searing Exarch will help a great deal on the strategy. Now, something of note here is that your total profit is going to depend highly on how fast you can do these maps. So, kill the boss, grab the map, find all of the essence mobs. This one only has 1 modifier, so we're just gonna fight it. We're not gonna do anything else with it. I generally don't worry about anything else. Grab the essence. Gloves. And continue the process. So this is all we're doing. Once we have cleared the map and we know that there are no more essence mobs in the map, we can just move on. Because all we really care about is the map boss and the essence mobs. All right. I think that's going to be the last essence mob, but we're going to double check and be sure. And we're good. So that's the map. Again, the faster you do it, the better you're going to be. But that's what it looks like. And so I'll run 8 of those, drop off anything that I need to as soon as I need to, and move on. So popping back over to Excellence next, we can see that we dropped off because we pulled out a bunch of Remnant of Corruption and all of the Chaos. We went to 188. We reload this area. You can see that that map in particular made us 50, almost 50 chaos, just in the essences. So we continue the same thing. We keep going using the same strategy and keep farming. And then at the end, we will do some manipulation of these essences and put that together. Now, the other thing that we didn't actually see in this map is harvest. We always do harvest if it shows up. We have harvest all over the place on our Atlas passive tree. We want to prioritize blue when we can. The reason we want blue is over here. We search, we can see that we can reroll essences with blue Lifeforce. And so we want to take all that blue life force and utilize it to re-roll our essences into the best essences we can get. And we'll talk about that a little later. But for now, I'm going to continue running these maps, and I'll see you in a little bit. Alright, so here we have a harvest that we're doing in one of the maps that we're running, and I wanted to go over this really quickly just to cover kind of the basics of how I approach harvest. And it's because of this keystone that we have, crop rotation. So all of our harvests are tier 1, but harvesting them has a chance to upgrade to the other colors that are in the harvest. So we like to aim for blue, so we have a couple of blue here, but our priority order is blue, yellow, then purple. Now, what you want to aim for is anything that has the least amount of occurrences is the easiest thing to upgrade. So if we only had one purple on this entire field, we would probably go for the purple instead. Since we have a field that has blue and yellow, we're going to go ahead and harvest both of the purple and see which one of these is better once we do that. That's what we're going to do. Alright, so right here we got lucky, so because of one of our other harvest nodes, we still have this yellow, so we'll probably end up going blue when we get here to the end. Harvest this one. Good to go there. Got a little bit of life force. Gonna harvest this purple over here. That blue went away. And then once we're done with this, we'll go take a look at the others. Oh, we've got an innocence touched. So now that we've done both of those, we go take a look over here. We've got two tier 3s right there. No tier 3s on our blue. So our options are try to upgrade this to have more tier 2 than this, or just go with yellow. I think I'm going to go ahead and risk it, but harvest this yellow. Hopes of upgrading this blue. Harvest this yellow. That. And now this blue has only one. Unfortunate. Grab this. This stayed, so it's actually gonna get upgraded again, and hopefully we'll get something nice out of that as well. Now using this method, or methods very similar to it, I've actually gotten quite a few Sacred Blossoms this league. Now this has 4 tier 3s. Harvest this as well. That's how I approach all of these harvests. They all work pretty similarly. I look for one that has low occurrences, and then I do the rest of the colors to try and upgrade a single plot as far as I can. And that's it. Welcome back everybody. We just got done farming all 32 of those maps for the test strategy. Now my recommendation for doing this is to do more than 32, as it will give you more consistent results overall and probably be more profitable in the long run. But to cover what we got a little bit of bubblegum currency that I picked up and just stored while I was in there. We got a ton of essences, and we got our Conqueror maps. We also dropped 3 synthesized maps, which we added in here. No crazy ones, so nothing outside of the realm of reasonable expectation. We got a nice amount of harvest juice, which we will use some of in a minute. We got 1 screaming invitation, which is something that you should expect. You should be getting at least 1 invitation per 32 maps, or something very, very similar. And then we got some of our really nice essences over here. Now, we have a couple of next steps, but before we proceed with what we're going to do next and as part of our strategy, let's pop over to Excellence next and see what it looks like. Alright, so here we can see kind of where we started and where we went for the day that we spent farming. So we were at 289 for a while. We grabbed all of our stuff out of our stash, and we ended up at 1624. Now, this is a number that is very, very similar to the total amount invested, and you might be thinking, that's a close margin. What I want to point out is that Excellence Next is not calculating any of the Conqueror maps. The Conqueror maps fall out of excellence totally. So what it's calculating is the Lifeforce, the essences, the Screaming Invitation, and the synthesized maps. You go through here, you can see where all of that lies and what the prices are on each of these things. So the Conqueror maps are all outside of this, and generally Conqueror maps are somewhere around 40-45 chaos each if you sell them individually. You should not sell them individually, you should sell them in sets, as you will get more money for them. What we're going to do next is we are going to combine these essences and turn as many of them into deafening essences as we can. So the way we do that is there's a 3-to-1 recipe for each of these, and so we're going to take all of our wailing and sell them for the equivalent screaming, and then screaming for shrieking, and then shrieking for deafening. Now there's a very easy way to do this. You can do what we're about to do without the stash tab, it just takes longer. So now we're going to turn affinities back on, go to my essence affinity, or my essence tab, and turn the essence affinity on. Here, and I'm going to start switching these over. I wanted to grab the total value of the test tab before I did this, just to see what it looked like. So now that we have that and we've recorded that, grabbing all of this, and then we're putting it straight into my stash. Alright, and then what we will do now, where all of our essences are, and what we'll do is on excellence, in order to account for this, we're going to we're going to alter our profile and add the essence tab, save, and we should come out with a very, very similar value. And we're back at still 7.6 divs, but part of it is in the essence tab. A significant part of it is in the essence tab instead of the test tab. So there we have that. Now what we can do, upgrade all of those essences, and we just upgrade these here. Now, just to show you that it is something that you can do without having dash tab, all you do right here is sell it. It'll give you 1 screaming and 2 wailing back. Very easy to do. I just find it faster to do with a stash tab. Gonna upgrade these as far as we can. There we go. Okay. So now we have all of these upgraded. We're going to look at excellence next one more time. And what we should expect here is the value will have decreased. What I see. The total value of excellence next generally decreases when you do this. Take another snapshot, and we can see right here we have a decrease from 938 to 892. This is expected. It's okay. Don't panic. So our next step is going to be rolling our essences. So what do I mean by that? Well, what we can do is we can say deafening, pull up only the deafening essence we have, and then we can order these by the price, right? And so what we want is we want these nice expensive 13 chaos, 12 chaos, 7 chaos. Anything above 5 chaos is fine. We're going to take all of those that are below 5 chaos and we're going to re-roll those. You might be wondering how we're going to do that. Well, let's go check. So I've got my Excellence next pulled up next to me. So I'm going to Essence tab, and starting at the bottom, we know I want Suffering. I'm going to grab all the Deafening Essence of Suffering. And I'll leave a link down to Excellence next in the description, as well as TFT and some of the other tools I'm going to use. Okay, then we are going to go back to our test tab and grab all of this blue life force that we have. We're only going to use it. So we have 2,556 blue life force, and we're going to start at the beginning here with the Essence of Suffering because we know it's the cheapest. All the way down here to Essence, different stack size. So my recommendation here is go buy more life force. It will be worth it. You will make money by buying the life force. It's pretty easy to do. And then all you're going to do is you're going to reroll this like that. You got Torment. We know Torment is not a good one, so we're going to roll it again. We got Woe. Woe is a good one. So Woe is... Here is Woe. Oh, we actually don't know what Woe is. We didn't have any Deafening Essence of Woe. Woe is worth 3 to 4. It says 5, so we'll go with 5. Then we go to the next one. Hatred is, I believe, one of the good ones. Not a great one, it's worth 5, I think. Hatred, 5, yep. Keep it. We want to roll it. Woe is fine. Got Anguish, which I think is one of the better ones. There's Anguish, one of the bad ones. Anguish is one of the bad ones. Greed is 4. Doubt is worth. Oh, Doubt is worth 2 as well. Horn is worth more. Horn is one of the 7s. Fear turns to anger. Red. Oh, which is good. Steel is, I think, also at 6. Which is a good one. Sorrow. Fight. Alright, and we're done. So we've run out of blue essence. We keep what we have, but that's the reason we started with ones that were low value. So, spended all of our blue essence. Throw that back in there. Add those back. And then switch back over to Excellence. And we're looking at right there at the top. You see we fell down to 6.86 div right there, and we're about to load the area again. Back. Even come back, and you'll see how much we gained by rolling those bad essences into good essences. That's with only the harvest that we gathered while we were doing the strategy. I didn't buy any extra. It's worth it buying extra, but I didn't. So we'll see how much we made overall. Okay, so we were at 6.86 total. Essence was 40-ish lower by upgrading all of our divs, or upgrading all of our essence. And now we take another snapshot. See that we're up to 7.2 div. Gained 0.34 div just by doing that, and we made much more then we lost. We did lose the blue harvest juice, but we gained more value in our essences. Again, it's worth buying more harvest juice and re-rolling all of the bad ones, but this is an example. Okay, so we're done now with our essence. We don't need to do anything more. We're ready to sell those. And what we'll do to sell those is just go over to TFT, bulk sell them, and use a price somewhere around what everybody else is, right? Sometimes you go 90%, sometimes you go 100%, sometimes you can get a little more than 100% of the value. That's my recommendation. Now, the next part is all of these maps. So only having 3 sets sets us back a little bit. And it's because it's best to sell these in sets of 4. Because if you don't sell them in sets of 4, you need to sell them individually. So your best bet is to, again, run more maps in 1 session than 32. Because that'll give you more opportunity to balance out sets and give you something like a set of 10. But this is what we have, so we'll work with it. Okay, so when it comes to selling our Cirrus Conqueror maps, we're going to want to go over to TFT and utilize one of 2 ways to sell our maps there. So, going over here, we have the bulk maps want to sell channel, which is where I recommend selling most of these. So, selling them as a set is a better way to do this, as you will get a better price overall. So if we look, we can see that people are selling these maps for 9 div per 10. So once you get a set of 10, which is 40 maps total, you can then sell them for 9 div. Unfortunately, we didn't get nearly enough for that. Running 32 maps, it's actually not possible for us to get that many, but still pretty good. This person is selling Paper Guardian sets for a similar price. So you can see that selling them in sets is a good way to make money, and that Elder and Shaper Guardian, if you don't have enough money for Cirrus Conqueror maps, is a good way to go about it. So we don't have the sets. What we're going to do instead is we're going to sell them all as random. The best way to do that is to go up a little bit and go to the maps want to buy. So up here, you'll see that Cirrus Conqueror maps go for 40C each. We can contact this person and say, hey, I've got this many Cirrus Conqueror maps, and ask them for that exchange. So we have 33 maps that we can sell, so instead of selling them, we're going to do math. Alright, so switching over to our handy dandy spreadsheet, we can see what we originally spent on these maps. Comes out to 1648, which was the cost of a little over 7 div, and we can see that the total value of our excellence next after our runs before we did anything else and not including the Conqueror maps was 7.06 div. Now after we did some manipulation with our essences, we got more value out of them, so our essences ended up with a value of 4.5 div on their own. Our maps have a value of 40C per 1, so if we were to sell all of the maps as random Conqueror maps to those on TFT, which is the best place to sell them in bulk in my opinion, we will get 1280 chaos for all of them put together, which it comes out to about 5.5 div. So that's where that sits, and that's how I'm calculating it. My recommendation is to not do it this way. Run more maps, because the difference here in selling individual maps and sets is pretty huge. So if you run 32 maps, or if you sell 32 maps, you'll get 5.5 div. If you sell 8 sets, which is the same amount of maps, you will get 7.2 div. So my recommendation, run more maps, sell them as sets, have sets of at least 10. So once you've done that, we can factor in the single invitation that we got, since that is a very consistent thing that we can rely on. It comes out to a value of almost exactly 1 div. And then we have the 3 synthesized maps that we dropped, which is a variance of 88 This isn't something that I would rely on, but it's something that we can put in here as it is part of our strategy. Now, we didn't get any cortexes, so nothing is going to throw off this variance too heavily. Overall, we can say that the total gained currency over our 32 maps was 2,635 chaos, or 11.4 div once we sell everything, and our profit margin is 987 chaos, or 4.29 div. Now, some of you might be thinking, okay, but how much is that in div per hour? The answer is not very much. I think it took me 2 hours right around to run all of these maps, but that is also going very slow. I am not super fast at doing these. The faster you go with the maps, the faster you clear through the essences and the boss, the better your profit margins will be. What this is, because this was never meant to be the best strategy, it is I can do anything else. I don't have to think. I load the compass, I load the map, I click on the essences, I beat the map boss, I go to the next map. You don't have to think very much, and you do the harvest whenever it shows up. It also doesn't include the harvest stuff we have, which is... Did I include the harvest? I suppose I should. But we also have... Where's our harvest at? We have... oh, let's do it by total value. Oh, that'll be helpful. So we have 140C worth of harvest. Profit margin went up a little bit. So yeah, that is the entire strategy. Let me know what you guys think of the strategy below. Again, it's not supposed to be the most div per hour. It's supposed to be, I don't have to think about it. It's simple, it's clean. As long as you can defeat a map boss and an essence monster, you can run it, you can earn currency.